on a 4x4 and is not sick, where would you choose to be first? Is it, and this is the ECM for devolution, not the ECM for health. If you are to tell us the ECM for health was visiting your ward and therefore you had other emergency health matters to deal with and dealing with life, who will listen to you? But you have ECM for devolution and your patients. And remember, you are a health practitioner. You are a nurse.
Speaker, Mr. Speaker, this is what I'm saying. I was with Waziri Devolution. I finished my exercise, and you know, Muvauki Kumene Ward is just 14 kilometers. But for the case of the chair, Honorable Kalunda, it's a bit far. So I assumed, because we tried to call them, and they told us they were with His Excellency, the Governor. That is why we did not get enough quorum. I came personally after I finished what I was doing. Thank you.
I'll ask you a further question that will test the call of time. Let me conclude. Given a governor who is visiting your ward, or a cabinet secretary through helicopters or V8s, and a response to statement on patients, some referred from your ward and are suffering, where would those members have opted to prioritize? And remember, the governor has been around. So why go promise how to improve health services in your ward where there are no cases and you are not able to resolve the cases at the neighborhood of the presence of the county assembly? I mean, it's the same. Where is the priority? To accompany the governor for photos, or to accompany the citizens of Makueni in the hospital?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. They should come and handle the issues concerning the citizens. And that is according to me. According to them, because they are not in, I can't speak on their behalf. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Fair enough. My questions were directed to you. And then therefore you have negated your earlier justification as to why they were not able to meet. Honorable Jalumumo.
The Speaker, I also rise to make my contributions toward this very, very important matter. And the Speaker, anytime you hear a member start with, you know there is a problem. Because that person has no answer. Either that person is trying to look for a lie or something. Anytime, because it should be straight to the point, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the chairman of that committee has complained to me as a chairman of selection that there's a problem in attaining quorum in this committee, Mr. Speaker. Not once, not twice. He has even gone ahead to name members who are perennial absentees of the committee, Mr. Speaker. And he has even gone ahead and requested if there is something can be done, to save this committee. But Mr. Speaker, we also think if you transfer a problem to another department, you may make it worse. Mr. Speaker, we must come up with a way. Even if it is naming and shaming in this house, in the broad time, we say Chalomumo has not been coming for these meetings this time. So the people will also know that down there, our member is not in the ward, neither is in the assembly. I mean, we must look for a way, Mr. Speaker, of addressing this matter once and for all. I know honorable members are very busy, seriously speaking, also addressing matters in the ward. But you can never be busy forever, and others can balance, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, we are not taking this matter lightly, Mr. Speaker, because today, those who complained yesterday will not come tomorrow. So that they will not come tomorrow, they were not there yesterday. I mean, this is a bit funny, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, it is not just the committee on, although the subject matter is in the committee on health, The chairman on lands has also complained, although I'm waiting for that official complaint by paper. But he has complained that the committee on lands is also having problems. I sympathize with that chair, Mr. Speaker. And other chairs, Mr. Speaker, has also complained. But if they do that in writing, perhaps it will have more weight, Mr. Speaker. And soon, perhaps you may name and shame those who never appear in the committees. Because without that, Mr. Speaker, this House is going to lose its meaning. This is a very sensitive statement. Very sensitive, because it touches on matters health, Mr. Speaker. And from where you are seated, and with the wisdom that you have, Mr. Speaker, I think you need to give directions that are very tangible and touching, Mr. Speaker, so that tomorrow it will be a lesson to other committees, Mr. Speaker, and the weight of the statement is understood. I rest my case.
Honorable Felix Mateso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on this statement, which has issues of life and death to our people, Mr. Speaker, deserves the biggest attention, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what I can say is that with the powers given to you as the chair and the Speaker of this House, I need the statement response by tomorrow, not later than tomorrow at 9:30, Honorable Speaker. That is what I can say, because we need to be serious on this, and especially on this particular statement that I raised, Mr. Speaker. This statement, people had a lot of expectations when I raised this statement, our people. But, Mr. Speaker, we no longer talk about it, because we were supposed to have responded to it immediately and make sure that our people are safe in our hospitals, Mr. Speaker. So that is what I can say, Honorable Speaker.
Member from Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to echo what my colleague have just said. Mr. Speaker, this is a serious matter. Mr. Speaker, and it was in the public domain that the CS was to visit Kibwezi West at 1 p.m. So it's about balancing time. They could have had their meeting at 8 and attend the other meeting. And I was surprised when the honorable member from Mwoki Kumini indicated and informed us that he accompanied the ACM devolution in his ward. Mr. Speaker, we lacked quorum, Committee of Trade, because we were 4 and the honorable member did not attend, which is a serious issue to the selection committee, and they need to be serious, Mr. Speaker. Even members need to be in 8 to 10 committees if they are serious, Mr. Speaker. We don't need, members can be in one committee if they are not serious, so that we can transact the business very serious, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the statement at hand. I'm a victim. I visited the hospital last week on Friday, Mr. Speaker, at around 5 p.m. Mr. Speaker, I had a patient there, and they had visited around 2 p.m. Mr. Speaker, at 5, they were just taken around the hospital, go to the imaging center, get this CT scan. Then when I arrived there, they informed us they are waiting for a doctor from 5 up to 10 night. That's when I called the CEO and asked him what is happening. I tried to intervene with the nurse at the reception, and he told me we are waiting for a doctor to attend the patients. I asked him the name of the doctor. He told me he's not aware. So I called the CEO, and 5 minutes, the patient was attended. That means they are not serious. The doctor is just there. They are just relaxing. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to take this issue very serious. Thank you.
Member for Nzawi, Kalamba Ward, Honorable Francis Mnyao.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, I would wish to add on my weight on this very serious issue which is before this House, Mr. Speaker. And I would like to say that we are not convinced, because the Honorable Member for Muvao has tried as much as possible to use what we call discourse markers. Discourse markers, Mr. Speaker, is when you try as much as possible to put forward a lie and try to coach it so that it looks like the truth. Speaker, let me say the public, the general public is quite ahead of us. Because if you look at WhatsApp and the other medias, you'll find that actually it is awash with what is happening in our health centers. So, Speaker, if we do not take the business of this house seriously, so Speaker, the members of the public will one day inject us from this house, Mr. Speaker. Because you cannot tell me you went, somebody has, the chair has just decided to go to Kibwezi to meet the CS, when in fact he was supposed to be here to chair a meeting to save lives, Mr. Speaker. I can tell you without any fear of contradiction that I woke up at around 6 because I knew I had a meeting here at 9. I attended, and if I had some other business to attend to at 1, the Speaker would have gone. So I just urge the committee to take the business of this house seriously. They should not take us into circles. Every time there was no quorum. Every time, if there's no quorum, then give the selection committee the honors to decide what to do next. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Fiametta, Luna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when this statement was requested, this Honorable House was hot. And I remember I cautioned, if we are not careful, we may have what is very normal in Kenya, the knee-jerk reaction, where we react when issues happen and within a week or two, we forget. Honorable Speaker, like I said that time, dead people do not speak. And if the Committee on Health, which I feel in this statement they have failed the people of Makueni. We are talking about lives. We are talking about people who are suffering and losing their loved ones. So my question is, are other businesses more important than the lives of the Makueni people? So the other time we saw the Committee on Gender being roasted here. So I think the chair and the members in that committee honestly need to get serious and save the people of Makueni, because we are losing our people, we are losing our mothers, we are losing our children, we are losing very many people. And if they drank like this, I don't know, a time like now, what will be happening to the population of this great county. So, Honorable Speaker, they can organize themselves and report this matter, although I don't give directions by tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Honorable members, this statement was due a week ago, I think more than a week ago. Excuses and circumstances around which one or two members were not able to be available are inadmissible. It was reported last week that the committee did not attain quorum. Absent members of the committee who were present were absent. It's on record. It is not a privilege if I refer you to provisions of Article 43 on economic and social rights, that every person has a right to the highest attainable standards of health, which includes the right to health care services, including reproductive health care. And further, Article 43(2), that a person shall not be denied emergency medical treatment. Now, we can't argue between our duties and responsibilities against the rights of Kenyans and rights of others. I'm afraid, Vice Chairperson, we can't go beyond today. If then we have to go beyond today, I can assure you I will refer this matter to another committee. I can invoke provisions of standing orders where it is not expressly provided for. The Speaker shall direct. I am very sure in the standing order it is not expressly provided that when a committee does not execute its mandate within the period that is required, and is a matter that falls within provisions of Article 43, it's on health and emergency, then what should happen? Definitely, I'll proceed to do so. including asking the citizens to meet and give us recommendations, or the patients to do so. So if and since the ECM responded, I direct that you proceed and give the response. Now. If any.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. If so directed, allow me to give the response. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are not that badly off, and we request, and this is a very humble request, Mr. Speaker.
Oral Chairperson. Clerk, may I know, when was that statement sought? When was it? I want that date. $14 days ago, 21 days ago, 30 days ago, Chairperson. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I hereby raise to give an additional response to a statement requested by Honorable Mbonbes Mateso, member for Ward and Ward, regarding the operations of the Makueni County Referral Hospital. The statement was requested during the...
What's the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I need to be punished with a response. I cannot get it. You need to follow up.
Table office, where's a copy for the request of the statement? Can that be done, and as you prepare? Chairperson, and the clerk, I direct that you get Honorable Mateso a copy of that response. Meanwhile, we proceed to the next request for statement. Chairperson, Committee on Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development to respond to statement numbers 27 of 2023 as requested by member for Elima Ward regarding the shortage of subsidized fertilizers in this county. Chairperson.
Mr. Speaker, ideally I have 3 statements which I'm supposed to respond to, and the ECM has indicated that by tomorrow it will be ready. So I have 3 which I'm going to present.
Order, Chairperson. What is it?
Tomorrow, I do that, kindly.
Honorable Chairperson, you mean the ECM is requesting for more time?
Not really the ECM, Mr. Speaker. We were not able to piece together what she had brought to the committee. So we indicated that we have to meet her very early in the morning so that we can present in the afternoon. We need some clarifications on some of the issues that she brought to the committee. Thank you.
Member for Elima, when was those statements sought? And clerk, I direct that when you're getting this information on the statement, should indicate when the statement was raised on this guide. And the first due date should be indicated. Yes, go ahead.
This was, we raised this statement 10 days ago, and it was actually given under urgency. Given that we are on the onset of the rains, and they have already started, and the people were really going through rough moments. Now the extension becomes now another quagmire of crisis.
I hear you. You see, order, Chairperson. Even responding that statement today, even if it was ready, yes, it will be late.
That's it.
A government that is responsive, preparing for rains for more than 7 months, and member for Lima requests for a statement on distribution of subsidized fertilizer, and he's saying that there is shortage, meaning there was some supply. I presume so. Then there is shortage. And then it therefore means if there was supply and there's a shortage, answer to a shortage should be addressed overnight. So that then, those that they acquired, it means they were acquiring to use it for planting. So answering after 10 days, unless you are preparing for April rains, then that's okay. I will refer you to tomorrow. Go ahead, Chair.
So, Speaker, I would kindly want to remind this House that actually we did not sit on Wednesday. On Friday, you know where we were. And Mr. Speaker, the only time that we had was only today. So that's, I'm requesting for tomorrow at 2:30 to deal with those matters. Because actually, we had this Mashujaa Day, we had adjourned on Tuesday. So actually, we were in problems.
Hold on. Member Fonzau.
10 days, 10 hours.
I can confirm to you, and yesterday I followed social media, is that the debate was on shortage of fertilizers. The Mashujaa Day you're referring to, which was held in Kaiti, that was a subject matter. In Ukia, that was the debate on Friday, meaning this response should have come earlier than the Mashujaa, and meaning the statement would have been more important than that. So delaying it for a second, for a minute, even aware the president himself has indicated there is no El Nino, after farmers had planned to do so much, himself has announced, then this becomes a confusion. But that notwithstanding, why then don't you proceed and give the response as it is? Perhaps the member will be satisfied and it will have answered the question at hand.
Mr. Speaker, to be frank, we are not prepared to come and present it here. So we cannot just present something.
I'll give you time. Your committee clerk will get that response from the ECM. You read it as it is. You don't have to adopt.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think that would be fair to the members because I want to give something which is substantive and which can be followed. Mr. Speaker, I cannot sit here to cheat the House that we're going to do ABCD when I know very well that actually I should give something which is going to hold water.
Chairperson, if President is to go by the order of urgency of the matter at hand, and we are discussing shortage of subsidized fertilizer, which has been procured, shipped in this country to help farmers of Makueni to prepare for rains, fertilizers meant for growing, same as the hospital case where I've directed the chair to find a copy, give to the request of the statement on Makueni County Referral Hospital, and give us the response as it is. We will not wait the committee. Then I also direct that you will get a copy of that response on fertilizer and give us a response as responded by the ECM. If that is difficult, then I will ask the clerk, since it is within our records, to ask the leader of the majority to read it on your behalf, because it's a document and lay it.
Mr. Speaker, remember the majority leader is also a member of the Agriculture Committee. And that's why we are seated this morning. And we are aware that actually if you look at Bitini, the fertilizer that was given there, Mr. Speaker, only 36 bags or something. 36 bags.
Honorable Chair, we're asking, is there a copy from the CEC member for agriculture responding to these issues?
It was Fabo, Mr. Speaker.
It was Fabo. The CECM member never did we write to the CEC member for agriculture?
Yes, we did.
Did she respond in writing?
Not really, Mr. Speaker.
Then take your seat.
No.
The subject matter, all the honorable members, member for Water and Sewer requested for a statement which was responded by the ECM for Health. The delay is on the Committee on Health getting quorum to deliberate and discuss that matter, file a report. Now, so it is on the side of the Committee on Health that is causing delay, not on the side of the department. In your case, it's completely different. The statement was sought how many days ago, Member Folima? October 3rd. And when is today? How many days? All honorable members, the statement was sought on 11th of October, year 2023. The due date was 19th of October, year 2023. And a reminder letter was done on 27th. Today, which is on 23rd October of 2023. Honorable members, I beg to be answered if I have to continue sitting on this chair. ECM for agriculture. Just like the same way we've addressed the chairperson Committee on Health. In all fairness, who on our desk is a request on a question on subsidized fertilizers, whether they are there or not there. The matter takes approximately more than 7 days, plus 5 is 10 days. And that ECM has not bothered to respond to that statement. Now, I want you to answer me, when the ECM woke up in the morning and was going to office, other than discussing fertilizer and seeds, what were they going to do? If every farmer wakes up in the morning, and if every MCA, you'll find someone at the gate, doorstep, they want some assistance to get some seeds to plant. When the governor is on Madaraka Day, people want seed supply and fertilizers. Even the president himself yesterday was addressing to the lanes. And all of us are preparing. Now the ECM agriculture has woken up on the 11th up to 19th, including today, and the subject on fertilizer. And it has not been responded to. It is a Committee on Health, unable to meet, but meet in other committees, but cannot respond to a matter of the emergency death. In all fairness. So, Honorable Chairperson, you're covering too late. You're covering a seed that has germinated. You're covering a boil. You may cover it for some time, but somehow at some point we will find you sitting on one side of because the boil cannot be covered. So, if we have to remind our ECM to respond on fertilizer, I think we have a big problem. I think so.
Just wanted something very, very formal, Mr. Speaker. That's what I've said. And I've indicated that
Hold on.
at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow, I'll respond.
You never got a response on 19th.
I know it is coming. It might even be here.
So unless you put password, we can't get it. Are you involved in procuring it?
You know, Mr. Speaker, sometimes you have even to call the ECM to know what is happening on some of these things as a chair.
That is where we have
So
a problem.
after discussion, after deliberations with the ECM, she has indicated it will be here not later than 8 a.m. tomorrow in the morning.
Meaning,
so that's why I've confidently said I'll deal with that matter with my committee at 2:30 p.m.
Honorable Chair, you are just doing what you referred Honorable Karembe to be doing. You used a jargon. What was it? You are twins. You are saying the same thing. Now, you are just doing it only that you are a little bit eloquent. On Honorable Kawembe, she was trying to explain why the committee could not meet because there was other activities which were not a priority. In your case, you are trying to justify how you will get us a response tomorrow when you could not get us that response on 19th. The leader of the majority, You know, the reasons as to why leaders of majority should not be in any committee. Because they're supposed to be speaking on behalf of all members. Yes, so you may resign from that committee. If your ECM could not respond between 11th and 19th on a matter of shortage of subsidized fertilizer, that is a subject matter, what other agency is in that department if that agency has not been filed? So all of us are not operating in agency, that's what I'm saying. And that is why it calls the intervention of the person of Francis Munyao Mutugu, get your phone, call the minister, then the minister will tell you, I will respond tomorrow. Meaning, unless you dictate and greet the agency as a chairperson, the ECM did not see the agency. That's what you're trying to say. And that therefore, chairperson, you will get that response, but it will go on record that it's still late. Tomorrow at 2.
I agree with you. But 19th was on Wednesday. We did not sit, Honorable Speaker. I mean, 19th we did not sit.
19th was on when?
Thursday. We did not meet.
Now, Honorable Francis, Honorable,
We adjourned on Tuesday.
Honorable Munyao, you are not to blame. But you are only covering a blame. That is why you are confusing yourself. There is no reason as to why the ECM should not have responded on or before 19th. In this case, we would be having a letter from the ECM dated 19th, or now that on 19th was holiday, on 20th. We would have now said we were not able to meet, but we have a response. Are you getting my point? So you are covering fire, and it is burning your blanket every second. So there is no justification, there is no sign of urgency in responding to this statement, but the subject matter is urgent. That's what I'm trying to say. And therefore, as you respond to this statement, you need to find that your ECM did not notice urgency on this matter. But there is urgency in attending Masuja. You getting my point? It's waking up, everyone dressing up, going for Masuja, addressing empty seats. Because how do you address angry people without fertilizer? Member for Ilima?
Mr. Speaker, I am a bit perplexed. I don't think even I need to add anything because you've directed as it ought to be. In the first place, that I was to tell my brother, every member in this house has iPad. We are on digital. We don't have to meet physically so that we can meet. If we can go the digital way, people can still conduct their meetings through the WhatsApp, through other social platforms. But unfortunately, I think you have directed him more. And if tomorrow is bringing the response, let us see what the response is tomorrow. However, this should stand as a guideline for future engagement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Chalomumo? Is it Honorable Chalomumo or leader of the majority? Which one do you want me to call you on? Advise me so that it goes on record.
Yeah, indeed, Mr. Speaker. You know, in English,
So the Chalomumo,
in English, it is the journey with the grace of God, Mr. Speaker, also known as Chalomumo. Mr. Speaker, I agree entirely with you. It's a very serious matter. And Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, congratulating my chair here, because I'm a member of that committee. It's a committee that does not lack quorum in many cases, Mr. Speaker. And the member, in fact, we had that debate. What you have just saying is, we had a very hot debate, Mr. Speaker, about that issue of that letter, Mr. Speaker. But we came to a conclusion, and Mr. Speaker, the clerk also, who is seated in the table, also advised, because I personally, because sometimes it's good to spill the beans, I personally asked why this should happen, Mr. Speaker. Because an SECM must answer questions immediately, not even waiting. I mean, because now, let me tell you, we are going to be belittled, this house. So if somebody at their comfort can say, you hold on, I will answer tomorrow, you know, Mr. Speaker. So that's what I'm saying, well, you have guided, but I'm not just saying for this committee, but for any other committee. If we want that respect, let us do what we are supposed to do. Let those letters be responded immediately. Not a matter of maybe follow the call, Mr. Speaker. That's what I'm saying. I want to agree with you entirely, although you have made already a ruling, and I want to assure through the chair, my chair, that response will come tomorrow. And indeed, if it comes the way it will come, we will also deal with it without fear or favor, because we are doing an oversight, Mr. Speaker. So Mr. Speaker, I thank you. On the other one, Mr. Speaker, on Mashujaa, Mr. Speaker, you said that, Mr. Speaker, that there are people who went for Mashujaa, addressing empty seats, Mr. Speaker. I can confirm in Tulimani, Mr. Speaker. I even brought a lorry of bread, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so not everywhere there were empty seats. There are places that we really were blessed, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Honorable members, this embarrassment we will cause ourselves. This is public information. After the date of Mashujaa, on 20th, is it? The governor of Makueni, on his official number, posted on WhatsApp, updating the citizens of Makueni and everyone else on the status of fertilizer stocks in satellite NCPB and county stores. And he has given a tabulation, very well balanced tabulation. So Kaskeu 422, sold 26, balance 446. Nunguni 863, sold 178, balance 685. Muguyuni 560, sold 56, balance 0. Kitisa 560, sold 12, balance 548. Birin 517, sold 37, balance 480. Kikima 1,102, sold 560, balance 560. Tawa 560, sold 560, balance 0. And the governor has indicated then on 19th, after that Mashujaa Day, additional stocks of fertilizers for Kikima, Tawa, Mugoyuni expected latest next week. Honorable members, I can tell you what this means. If you contract a driver on your personal car, or you are given a responsibility to contract one on official car, but then on day 3, you find it better to take the car and drive along the highway, then you should know that you are declaring that driver overtaken by the driving skills, for lack of a harsh word, or the driver should know that the boss is ahead. This is a serious statement. Member for Elima, you sought for a statement. The governor had to intervene on 20th. The assembly was to get a response on or before 19th. The ECM was not able to furnish the assembly on or 19th. Then the governor took responsibility to respond to members of Makueni County who voted for him directly, and he responded to them directly. And therefore, whatever we are doing as a county assembly of Makueni is overtaken. The driver is declaring the co-driver of the assembly asleep. And his personal driver not as competent to go with the speed. What is it, leader of the majority? Yes, if you are ward manager, it doesn't manage the ward and you do it better. You are telling them that I regret hiring you. I'm sorry to use that word, but that is how people declare themselves absent. Member from Bitini.
I think, Mr. Speaker, the department is just mean with the information. I think they had the information even before 19th. They are mean.
Can you table a document?
I am saying I think they are mean with the information because, Mr. Speaker, it was in the public domain on 20th that we are telling the residents as you have tabulated. So I think they could have communicated before then. So maybe we are sleeping as you are saying.
Yes, member from Bitini, I'm saying the tabulation was posted by the governor on Uke and Kaiti forums after citizens raised, including in Bitini, following the famous or infamous Mashujaa Day. Remember, the assembly had requested a statement which should have reached us before the Mashujaa Day. Perhaps this information should have been given and action taken that time. What I'm telling you is that the governor went ahead, sorted the matter as the person who has been directly elected by the people. The governor jumped to the ECM, he jumped to the committee, he jumped the assembly, he jumped member for Elima, and sourced for an answer whether from Cereals and Produce Board, and certified the citizens of Makueni. What happens to those who are co-drivers or below? They are declared redundant. And if you are a clever driver, you should be looking for squad elsewhere. It's a courteous way of being asked to resign. When you find His Excellency the Governor defending the government on agriculture, education, and any other, in other words, His Excellency the Governor is telling you that I'm doing your work, so I can do the better job than you can. So I'm not aware that you exist. Only that there is a constitutional requirement. It's a soft insult or declaration of incompetence. Honorable Munyao, it is like sending your ward manager to sit where you are seated. Absolutely, that is it. Or your ward manager appearing before Musi FM to explain the development and oversight agenda in Nzau Kilili Kalamba ward. Your ward manager. And how he will ensure you will legislate and you will have all documents. He has fired you if Masongalen is to court. You may laugh about it, but it's a serious thing. On health, recently the governor laid a paper, honorable members, and a paper was admitted here on Tuesday last week. The governor reorganizing the Department of Health, establishing a chief officer on management and a chief officer for medical and a chief executive officer for Makueni County Referral Hospital. This statement was sought almost 21 days before that communication was made. The governor went ahead, noted the problem, and has answered the questions. While, member for Elima, all the honorable members listen, while the assembly is struggling to respond to statement on patients who are on seatbelt, the governor has gone ahead and reorganized the departments and presented to the same committee on health for information. He's saying, you and the ECM are not able to solve this problem. I've used my executive authority to reorganize you so that I'm telling you, I will be having 2 chief officers, and in future, please invite the CEO for Makueni Teaching and Referral Hospital once recruited directly. So you'll have 3 CEOs to deal with. But meanwhile, you can continue sitting, with your ECM and deliberating and whatever. So, I mean, whereas the responsibility of oversight, I have reasons to find the governor ahead of everyone. Why is quiet looming? It is not a hammer. Honorable Marazo.
Mr. Speaker, the guests have gone. Mr. Speaker, let me say that.
Honorable Marazo, you are live on YouTube.
I want to compare this.
Honorable Marazo.
Sorry?
The guests are watching. You are live on YouTube.
No problem. Let them watch. Let me speak.
Go and speak as it is.
Honorable Speaker, I'm looking at this assembly. This is the third assembly. And comparing it with, I was not there in the first assembly, comparing it with the second assembly. And we are totally doing very bad in terms of oversight. And that is why we are actually down, because we are become so friendly to these ECMs. We are supposed to oversight, Honorable Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, this is where the problem is. Mr. Speaker, they relax and they don't see it as very urgent. Mr. Speaker, we used to actually summon the ECMs. Once you delay the statements, we used to summon them here in the assembly. And Mr. Speaker, if I compare the ECMs who were there before, and they used to respond promptly on the statements, Mr. Speaker, because we used to push them. We used to insert a lot of pressure, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I would just advise this House to push these ECMs and let them realize that this is the work they are employed to do. This is the work they are employed to do. They do not have any other work. Because, Mr. Speaker, I was also looking at this, and Mr. Speaker, it is also going back. Because it is not actually well responded. And I will not accept it unless it is responded actually the way it should be responded, Honorable Speaker. So that is a problem which is eating us, Mr. Speaker. So I think members, we need to check on that. And our core mandate is oversight. And we oversight the executive. That is what I can say.
Member for Limau.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think I will echo the words of our Honorable Mateso and stretch it a bit. If you look at the standing orders, number 194. 194. It talks about powers and privileges of committees, where committees shall enjoy and exercise all the powers and privileges bestowed on County Assembly by the Constitution and Statute, including the power to summon witnesses, receive evidence, and request for and receive papers and documents from the government and the public.
Further to that,
If you look at
I
that,
refer you to section 39 of County Governments Act.
I don't have it here, but
Meanwhile, you go to Article 195
yes, Article 195 of the Constitution.
of the Constitution.
I've not carried it here, I've not crammed it. However,
You are not as equipped as I am.
I think now I will copy from you.
Seems the governor and the ECMs are more equipped than you.
39, it says, Sabbatical 1. The members of the County Assembly, County Executive Committee are individually and collectively accountable to the governor in the exercise of their powers, performance of their duties and responsibilities. Part 2, Committee of the County Assembly may require a member of the Executive Committee to attend or appear before the committee and answer any questions related to the members' responsibilities.
Refer to Article 195 of
Then
the
Article
Constitution.
195 of the Constitution, it refers powers to summon witnesses on the committee. A county assembly or any of its committees has power to summon any person, the word is again any person, to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information. The Speaker.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Don't read Constitution in isolation.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Part 2, it says, for the purposes of Clause 1, an assembly has the same powers as the High Court. High Court. And I quote, 2, enforce the attendance of witness and examining them on oath, affirmation, or otherwise. 2, compel is to force, the production of documents, and C, issue a commission or request to examine witness abroad. Even if they hide, they can be caught wherever they are. Public participation and the county assembly powers.
Fair enough.
That's okay. So in this context,
I've enriched your standing
yes,
order. Can you now proceed?
Yes, when you compile all that, you find to some extent, as county assembly, we are giving leeway to be mistreated, to be handled in a facade way, sometimes to be looked into like we are not serious, because yet we are empowered wholly by the Constitution, by the standing orders, and by the Act. I have attended several meetings where actually the members of this county assembly, and I can stand and quote comfortably, are treated like the third level class by the same people we need information from. And that's no wonder. It's what's actually dominating to what we are having now. Me, I would urge you as our leader, and also the leader of the government, and another leader around, that we may address this matter of how we are treated as MCAs, as members of the county assembly, because if today you don't value me, even if I request information, you take all your time and say, what can they do about me? We went to Mukuyuni, and a clerk who works at the governor's office stands and says, Governor, I brought you the file of the attorney. And I had read and realized some people had requested for a bore. And I stand to assure these members that borehole is coming. Yet the member of the county assembly is sitting next to me, where I was representing you as the speaker. A clerk in the governor's office has the power and the necessity to go through the files of the governor, which is confidential information, go to the public in front of the ECM, and who has invited the ECM? Who has invited the clerk? The ECM. And at the same time, the member of the county assembly is standing there. When the member of the county assembly stood to defend himself and give clearance, he's being told, hurry up. There's no time. You're wasting our time. Surely, this kind of casual treatment must stop. Because at the end of the day, we are elected by the same people who elected the governor. We contributed to the uplifting of the governor to where he is, no matter how little it was. We are working around the clock, defending the governor, day in, day out. In Nairobi, you will find a signpost, carries the governor's photo and the MCS photo for every project. Here you try that, you are next to be executed. Let us call it a spade. Call a spade a spade. It's the high time we need to bring back the sanctity of this house. And I will say this, Mr. Speaker. Me, I have confidence in you. I have confidence in our business, in our leader majority. I have confidence in the membership and the leadership in this house. But it's the high time we need to lift up our underline. And this will also mean we examine ourselves. Because also ourselves, we have issues. I was angry with members outside here. That a member tells me, Bishop, I cannot go to the house because I have to go and buy goodies or snacks for my child who is actually closing school tomorrow. You had all the time the whole week and you have come to the house so that we can do business for the house. How do we handle that? It is a question of seriousness by the house, and I will not fear to say this. We were elected for the people of Makueni. Whether I'm live or not, I can speak it anywhere. I am a bishop ordained and consecrated to speak the truth and shame the devil. And I will do it again and again. That let us take this house seriously, both us and even anybody around the house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I finish at that.
Honorable Abaras Yulu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And unless we up our game, it will be just business as usual. We will just be attending those events, and the executive will always handle us as flower girls. I don't know if surely we are sure of the business that we are supposed to conduct. If it is oversight and you go in a project that is being launched and you've never been there and you attend and expect to be respected, I don't think this will happen. It is evident that we've been calling these ECMs here. We lack quorum in their absence, and they note that we are never serious. We need to be serious on whatever we are doing. I have had a project in my ward, and I witnessed a contractor leaving site when he has been instructed by the engineer to complete certain works that had not been done. We were doing a dam in a place called Masani. And because I had been there, the works were being done hourly, and the contractor had the guts to leave the site even after we had agreed that he had more than 60 hours works that should be done. He left the site, and immediately I called the CEO and informed him that even if that contractor had been brought by His Excellency the Governor, the clarion call of our governor is Waoni Wakwikanesa no longer, and I quote. So I said that as the area representative, I had not seen even the Waoni, I had yet to see the Ulungalu, and I had yet to see the Kwikanesa. And I informed the CEO that being the overseer and oversight chief of that ward, who was oversighting that project, if he goes ahead and clears that contractor, he will have done that with his monies or his pocket. The contractor did whatever he wanted. He beat around the bush, and later the equal lines and the bottom line was he brought back the equipment and completed the works. If we maintain that we are here to do oversight, we are here to represent our people, we are here to legislate on behalf of our people, there will be no need of us as honorable members to go into functions to make sure that we appear to be seen by the people who elected us. We need to do as to per what is required. Even ECM doesn't produce the response by the time which has been requested. We don't need to start covering ECMs or any department. We need to call them here, have the committee on the general oversight, and deal with these members, because we don't need to continue beating around the bush, because if the governor sees that we are almost asleep, and he has been in the Senate and he knows what we should be doing, and sees that we are not doing, he will continue doing what he has done, responding to his bosses, who are the people who elected him. So, Honorable Speaker, we need to work on timelines and do our job correctly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We may have to rest at that point. Deputy Honorable Francis Munyao, you want to speak as what? Yes. As Deputy Leader of the Majority, or Zawik Likalamba, or Chairperson Committee on Agriculture? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't take the comments of the members lightly. Neither your comments, Mr. Speaker. And let me put it clearly. It is either 2:30 tomorrow, or I invoke Section 195 together with my committee to make sure that I'm not roasted again in this house, Mr. Speaker. I may not like it, and I don't like it at whatever point. So if the ECM decides to play cat and mouse, because I've heard clearly that I'm trying to defend her, which I entirely agree, I don't even deny. So Speaker, she'll find it rough with the committee if she doesn't respond appropriately. And exactly at 2:30 p.m. we must bring an answer here to the comments.
And right at 2:30, I direct that you also get an explanation on circumstances under which information that was sought by Assembly on 11th to reach the Assembly on 19th. The governor had to bother to communicate to the public when it was a mandate of the ECM to do so. And whether there was anywhere else where she bothered to do so. Was a county executive committee member for respective docket, they are answerable to members of public all the same. So that we will know in future, if I know in future that if I direct a statement on agriculture to the governor, I will get it tomorrow, I'll be okay with that. So Chair, that is where we're heading. Yes, we will do that. And you know the governor will be communicating through the standing orders under messages. And you know messages are directed to the speaker. Yes. So it means if the committee cannot engage ICM, then the committee stands disbanded.
As unguided, and since the committee clerk is here, I think he should be directed to do so. To write to the ECM and make sure that he gives a response to that.
Out of order. You cannot. Have you directed the committee clerk? Oh. Okay, Chairperson, I direct that the clerk to do so. You have committed that we're going to get that response tomorrow. And to that, in fact, the letter has already been written. We just wanted to hear from you tomorrow and check your answer against that of governor and see who is ahead of the other. Member for Tilmani Ward? Or leader of the majority?
I can now speak as a leader.
And I want to refer you. You need to take note of what Honorable Manzo has stated.
Yes.
There was no thirsty, there was no doing good, and there was no integrity.
Thank you.
Questioning the governor's clarion call, then you are in problem.
Mr. Speaker, I will take it. It shall still remain as it is that is the governor's clarion call. Everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion, Mr. Speaker, on any subject matter, and that is the law, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have listened because all we are doing, Mr. Speaker, we are still in order number. We have not even gone to order number, 7. We are still on statements, and we have motions. It is out of that statement, and it is good some things to happen, Mr. Speaker. And it is good for members to open up, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am a second term member of County Assembly here. I have heard Honorable Mateso trying to compare and say something, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I can categorically tell you that some of these things that are happening are out of our own making. Own making how? Mr. Speaker, the ECMs have been having very good friends from members of this house. Members crossing over there, having tea, discussing on some matters. When the ECM is called into a committee, there's no quorum. So he said, you see. So if I can't find them in quorum, next time they call, no, I will. And after we left Plenary, we left somewhere, we sat down. So sometimes we are beating our own drums, Mr. Speaker. So until we stop that engagement and we become official oversight, we shall earn our respect ourselves, Mr. Speaker. So you see, when it comes to issues of, Mr. Speaker, a meeting somewhere, and an MCA is elected, and you expect that member from there to come and tell you where to sit, Mr. Speaker, take your own space, Mr. Speaker. And you have taught us that, Mr. Speaker. I remember sometimes I was in Kalawa, and we members argue, you know this protocol, please take your position as an MCA. Nobody can remove you from where you, but if you wait, you are told, then you are done. Mr. Speaker, I think we may need another training for the whole house on matters of who we are, on matters of who we represent, Mr. Speaker, because it seems that we are yet to get to know who we are. Our constitution is very clear. Honorable Mudoka said it here, and I helped him to look at that 195, I don't know, that 9, how strong, how powerful we are. We can summon, we can even, by the way, even summon the members of the national government, Mr. Speaker. We have done that before. We have even called, sometimes we wrote to the commissioner, the commander. That is how this house is powerful. So let us not just be a complaining members. Let us play our roles, Mr. Speaker, through writings. If you want to meet with any member of the executive, of course, you are allowed, but don't extend it. So that when you talk your things, and it is time now to communicate to that person, and that person the other day gave you a grader to your award, for example, you say, but the other day I gave you grader. We are getting it wrong. And we shall be fought. So, Mr. Speaker, I am very sure that if we get it right as ourselves, and I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, as a leader of government business, I will always stand with the members of this county assembly, no matter what, anywhere, anytime, Mr. Speaker, because they are my colleagues, and what we are birds of the same feather, that we must fly together, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, honorable members, I like what Honorable Manzu has put it clearly, Mr. Speaker, that we have our oversight role. We have our mandate. Mr. Speaker, and those powers, we have not realized how powerful this House is, Mr. Speaker. And you have always told us, take your position. So members, I humbly request you, take your position. The issue of quorum, we have discussed it here, Mr. Speaker, and the statements. For example, you know, I have a statement that I asked, leave alone this one, Honorable Mudoka asked in the other day. I asked in May, this year, 2023. Up to now, I am still waiting for an answer. Devolution. I mean, Mr. Speaker. So until we get serious, we have a problem. Yes, I know selection, but again, you can take somebody and take another problem to another area. They are only transferring problems, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I end and say, in quote, to wajibike. End of quote.
Honorable Mateso, we will get a response to your answer. Chairperson, proceed and do it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby rise to give an additional response to a statement requested by Honorable Bonibas Mateso, member for Watensiu Ward, regarding the operations of the Makueni County Referral Hospital. The statement was requested during the 71st sitting of the County Assembly held on Tuesday, 5th September 2023, pursuant to the provisions of the Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 39(2) of the County Governments Act 2012, revised 2020, and the Standing Order 50 of the Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders.
Chairperson, may you take us to the questions and answers instead?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the honorable member. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the statement, the member sought clarification on the following. A, whether the department was aware of the deteriorations of operations and the services at the said MCRH. If yes, what actions the department has taken to remedy the situation? Provide remedy for each reported advice includes...
Chairperson, just go to the section which asks question and an answer instead of repeating.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Committee on Youth Services was given 20 days to consider the following. Why the universal health care cards are not accepted in the facility. The Makueni Universal Health Care Cards are accepted in Makueni County Referral Hospital. 2, why are the patients being referred specifically to Kaiti Pharmacy, Kako Chemist, and Makueni Medical Services for purchase of drugs? The hospital has no preference of referral to any facility for purchase of drugs or even treatment of any kind. For those services, stock drugs that are not available within the hospital, the patients are free to purchase from any private facility. 3, which health facilities have been contracted for referrals for specialized hematology, stroke biochemistry tests. The following are the contracted service providers for services that are not available. A, pathology, Las and Kenya laboratories. B, radiology and imaging reporting, Machakos Imaging Center. C, cardiology services including ECG and ECHO, Machakos Cardiology Evaluation Center. 4, whether the said one customer care line is sufficient and effective to serve many clients. If not enough, what plans does the department have to ensure there are enough customer care lines, and how the department has sensitized people on the lines?
Honorable Baraza.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some of the questions that I requested before were answered satisfactorily. And some of the questions that were not answered are the ones now that have been responded to. Honorable Speaker, we were very clear on the cut we meant when we say the universal health care is the Makueni universal health care is what we were asking. And they have said it's accepted. Mr. Speaker, it's good to understand when you move with that card, you are guaranteed to be treated or given the services that you require, because at times there are issues, Mr. Speaker. So it's true, it is accepted, but there are issues behind that Makueni universal health care. Question 2, Mr. Speaker, while the patients are being referred specifically to Kaiti Pharmacy, Kako Chemistry, and the Makueni Medical Services for purchase of drugs. Mr. Speaker, this is information from our patients, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, once they respond that they have no preference to this, Mr. Speaker, I would have expected that they get time and they interrogate this, because you cannot just ignore that there is nothing like that while we know it is happening. So I think the way they have responded, I should have expected something like we shall interrogate, give us time, we interrogate. But once they dismiss it just like that, Mr. Speaker, I'm not satisfied with that. On question 4, yes, Mr. Speaker, on those accredited facilities, I'm surprised because we have always been referred to Medical Plaza in Wote. Does it mean it's not accredited? Because the list I've given here, it is not there. So we don't
Which
know.
one? The imaging or the plaza?
Doctor's Plaza, that is what I mean.
Some patients have been referred to Doctor's Plaza?
Yes, for imaging and radiotherapy and any other.
Is that plaza or imaging center?
Sorry?
That's the plaza, eh?
Yeah, the Doctor's Plaza. I thought it's accredited. Actually, because it's not here. They have only given 3. That is what we need to know, because this is where we are always referred to whenever there are issues.
So, Honorable Badeso, just to remember, if my memory serves me right, I think this county government in the previous term acquired an X-ray machine, acquired a CT scan machine.
Yes, it is
there.
there.
Was a statement that was raised that time,
yes,
which led to
yes,
discussion in the budget committee and the executive, and there was provisions for CT scan in Makueni and I think at the hospital, and then equipping of X-rays at I think Tower, Water, and other places. That's one more thing. And then when you indicate that you are sending the imaging for reporting to another hospital, does it make sense to have an equipment? But then it's like having a driver, having a car, and you hire tires. You hire some tires and then you remove in the evening. You have X-ray machine, you have CT scans, then you have someone to take them, then you send to another radiologist, then Honorable Fiamera, you are sent to that other radiologist, you pay some amount. And meaning that had you taken that radiology scan there, it would have costed the same. So what was the essence of investing millions of money in acquiring equipment and we are not able to report by procuring a personnel? And I think that is what many members have been stating, that you are referred outside for a service that can be offered by the government.
Exactly. Honorable Speaker, we need to get to a serious oversight and see what we have in this referral hospital, what machines are there, which machines are working, because there are machines there. Yet the services, you are supposed to get the services from outside when the machines are there. So, Mr. Speaker, with your request, it's a request to you that we need to move there and do some oversight on those questions, because there are a lot of questions on these machines. And sometimes even X-rays, you notice that they are not working, they are not available. We need to know which machines are available, which machines are working, and we can only know that from our oversight. We need to go and oversight that, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, on question 4, whether the said customer care line is sufficient, and because what they gave is only one customer care line, Mr. Speaker, and the reason why I requested for more response is that just one customer care line, which is serving the whole of the entire account, Mr. Speaker, is not enough. So, instead of doing another line, they have just listed the lines that are actually existing. Because they were there before, how have they helped our people?
Were they listed, Honorable Mateso?
They have listed the administration number, which was there. And I don't know how it will help our people.
And which other one?
There is the casualty. It has always been there, and our people have not been getting any help from.
Another one?
ICU. That one they are calling it extra customer care lines, which I don't believe they are customer care lines, Honorable Speaker. And then the newborn unit, it's a line, it's a customer care line. It's a customer care line. If you have nothing to do with a newborn, will you call that line a customer care and you want to maybe inquire something else? I don't think these people are serious on what they have done. And they have even given a laboratory department line as a customer care line. It can't be. It can't be. Because these are specific issues. You want to inquire on a particular issue. The first line is okay, because once you call, you'll hear Makueni Referral Hospital, somebody will answer that, and you can ask something about maybe what you want, or you can sort some help. But the others cannot be called customer care lines. I don't think they are customer care lines, Mr. Speaker. So I just wanted them to expand the customer care line so that we can have several, which will respond direct to the issues of someone who is want to inquire something, who maybe want to know number 24, where number 24 is, or somebody want to be directed to X-ray department. Those kind of things. That is what I requested. But I don't think this is, what I've given here is what I wanted, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Chairperson. Before Chairperson, Honorable Elizabeth, what else are you saying that the customer care is someone calling from somewhere to inquire? So so laboratory is, if you are within the hospital and you are a nurse in casualty, you can call emergency, you can call theater. There is contact for theater, which is not customer care. Yes. So someone at Mosine can only call the customer care.
They are pitched actually at the gate, where there's someone who picks that particular line. And if you want to require something, you can be answered, you can be directed to where you want to go. But you cannot tell me, ICU. Someone may not pick the ICU line because maybe it's very busy. How will you help that person who has it? You cannot. Casualty, you may get that people are busy there. That particular customer care line should be somebody who does not do anything else. It's only seated there to pick calls from our people. That is what we are saying.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also find this response is very interesting, as the member is saying. Mr. Speaker, when a member, these departments need to know that when a member is requesting for a statement, they are requesting because they already have some prior information. Mr. Speaker, they should not have brushed the questions the way I'm seeing it here, Mr. Speaker. They are answering so casually. They should be asking themselves why even the statement requester has gone ahead and quoted the chemist that he has quoted here. Mr. Speaker, I also happen to have some information which I cannot probably disclose here because I have no supporting documents to offer.
You are not required to do so.
Huh?
You are not required
Yes.
to do so. It's, for example, if someone tells you that he was mistreated in the hospital, you can't ask a citizen to give you a CCTV camera to take it to assembly. If you are convinced it's an allegation that is worth finding, you are protected by the standing. That's why you're a representative of an opinion of what you saw. It's allowed. So you are not required. You're only required to substantiate where now you have gone to the extent of saying a recommendation be made.
Yes.
So that this action is taken, is where now you require the committee will take the evidence and facts. But to initiate oversight or debate or whatever it is, you are a representative of the people. You should speak as they say, as they feel, as they smell. Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Which health facilities have been contracted? I also don't understand why Doctors Plaza is not one of them. When they want to do a scan, they always send patients to Doctors Plaza if there is no one at the hospital. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Elizabeth, is it the Dr. Plaza where images are taken?
Yes.
Then that is a branch of Machakos Imaging Center. Are you getting my point?
For the radiology and imaging reporting.
Now, let me, there is a Machakos Imaging Center not far away from the Machakos Hospital, referral. So you can go to the Doctor's Plaza, you get a prescription to get a scan, your head or your aunt, then you go to the next door, you get that scan. Patients from other hospitals may come, branch of that imaging in Makueni. So that's how I got to realize it is a branch of that. The registered name is Machakos, but the branches are called as per their Doctor's Plaza, Makueni, and Imaging.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's why I'm saying the responses from the department are a bit casual. Mr. Speaker, I'm not privy to that information that Machakos Imaging Center and Doctors Plaza in Makueni are related. So, Mr. Speaker, we are always wondering why we have to go to Doctors Plaza specifically. Mr. Speaker, I also know that they have to send images. It's like they don't have somebody who can read what the image means. I am aware of a patient who died because they had to wait for so long for the image to be read at another hospital, that is Kenya National Hospital. As they waited, they were an accident victim and they ended up dying because of waiting for so long. Why do we have the scan there? Why do we have those equipment there if there is no one to read them? We spend so much money buying those things. If there is no one to read them, to produce the money for everything to be done, I think that is against the act. I don't know what the act is called. There's one of the act within the health, Health Act. No, I'm not very sure what it's called, but in cases of emergency, to the customer care desk. Mr. Speaker, what we have there is not a customer care desk. People will come and fumble all over the compound. They don't know where to go. I have been there, I have taken people there. They get confused at the entrance. A customer care desk should be well indicated with people who are well dressed, people who are polite enough to show you where you should go first, where you should go next. Mr. Speaker, that does not happen on that desk. I don't know what they are there to do. They should not pitch that tent there if they have no people who can direct patients, Mr. Speaker. So I think the committee, it is important for the committee to realize that there is more than meets the eye in this statement, and then get into the details, even unasked questions. They should invite maybe the department, whoever is responsible, and ask some unasked questions, because there is a lot of information they are going to get from this particular hospital. That Makueni Referral Hospital in particular, there is a lot that is going on there that needs to be unearthed, Mr. Speaker. Our people are suffering there, especially victims of accidents. They are suffering there, and that needs to be streamlined, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, before you answer, you are referring to it as Makueni Referral Hospital. Makueni County Referral Hospital. So if you are in Bumbuni, do you want that scan taken? Why refer to Makueni? What is it that is not in Bumbuni that you can get at Makueni Referral? I'm asking, because when you come, or what is it that you can't get in Tawa, you will have to refer to Makueni, because if whatever services you've referred, you have to refer to imaging center outside, and someone has to pay. Then from Tawa, leader of the majority, Chalomumo Tulimani, and Honorable Vice Chair, that means that from Tawa Sub-County Hospital, you've no business coming to Makueni Referral, because even if you come to the referral, you will be referred to private. So you are better off going to Masi private, or Machakos Referral, Kenyatta Referral directly, or the imaging in Machakos, and therefore we do not have a referral. Is that what you're saying? Because if when you take a radiologist, there is none in Makueni County, then why you can't refer a patient from Kibwezi Sub-County Hospital? So it means then that can we make our sub-county hospitals referral enough, because they can do what the sub-county referral is doing, and then allow that our patients can be referred directly to Machakos Regional Referral or private hospitals or Makindu referrals, so that, Honorable Mateso, you don't misplace your hopes, because you could be speaking about something that does not exist. It's like having a pro box that has 5-seater and a bus that has 5 seats. The capacity is the same because they should be seated. Are you getting the point? It's a big name, but 5 seats. And then Tawa is a small name, but same seating capacity, same services. And the extra services, you refer them. Pharmacy, you refer. Lab, you refer. Radiologist, you refer to Machakos. I mean, so Mheshimiwa Mutindi, Honorable Mateso may be asking the wrong question. Should be saying Water Hospital, not Makueni Referral. It is Watensiu Ward Hospital or sub-county. You want to add? Yes, Honorable Mutindi?
Mr. Speaker, you have put it right, because, for example, a patient in Tawa, they have no business referring them to Wote, because they should understand the kind of services being offered in the MCRH as from Tawa Hospital. So they should just advise the patient in good time, before they waste so much time going to Makueni only to be referred to KNH, Mr. Speaker, because this is a life we are trying to, it is a life we are trying to save, Mr. Speaker. So because they know what is possible in Makueni, they should be able to just coordinate and refer the patient directly to KNH or Machakos, where they can get help faster, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have a case where a patient had to wait for the doctor to be woken up at Makueni. He was an accident victim. Mr. Speaker, they took it, the patient arrived at 7 p.m., and the doctor arrived towards 6 a.m., Mr. Speaker. The patient died in the ambulance, Mr. Speaker, as they were trying to refer the patient to KNH. What were they waiting for all that time if the Speaker? They should have referred them. In fact, even our health centers, that is why Speaker, so that we can use whatever hospital is near us. If it is a referral case, the doctor there must be able to tell that this cannot be handled in Wote and refer them to the next hospital, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I think there is so much we need to do here. Thank you.
Speaker, as they have responded, they are effective because they are FABO, Mr. Speaker. You're just told, go and purchase this medicine from this pharmacy, but no written document. So this committee needs to do thorough oversight on this department, Mr. Speaker. And also, Mr. Speaker, on the CT scan, Mr. Speaker, I think we have indicated that the county invested a lot of money to purchase those machines, Mr. Speaker. But also, Mr. Speaker, we also need to investigate because, Mr. Speaker, most of the cases, they are referred to the Doctor's Plaza. I think 80%, and I can say it comfortably, Mr. Speaker, because all the patients that communicate to these members, they communicate sourcing for funds for those scans, Mr. Speaker. And I said that a victim last Saturday, I had a patient in the referral, and they had to Kukopa quote 21,000 to do this scan, Mr. Speaker. So that committee needs to do a thorough oversight and investigate those cases that being referred to the imaging, the Doctor's Plaza, and also the pharmacies as indicated. But they are FABO, Mr. Speaker. There is no any way you can handle them because it's not, you can't do a report on that. So we need to investigate very keenly on them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member Volema, briefly.
Yes, very briefly. Mr. Speaker, to refer to what Honorable Mutindi talked about, she has very valid issues, but I wanted just to add something small. Besides the X-rays and the radiology kind of imaging services, as low as stool tests at some point, we are being referred to different places so that we can be of these tests. These are basic tests: stool, urine, kidney.
Point is made.
I want to finish with one thing. The last one is, according to the County Governments Act, the development of services of health, call it that in every county there should be a main hospital which can be able to do almost equivalent to what can be done at the national level. Not equal, but almost equivalent. That, looking at Makueni County, this is the only hospital which is at the level of level 5. But now, if we say the referral, we are referring everything, then that definitely goes in consistency with the County Governments Act. I will still echo the same things. We need to do more than what we are seeing with our own eyes, because cartels are killing our hospital.
Honorable Matters over last.
Honorable Speaker, is many people are normally referred to. Mr. Speaker, I realized, Mr. Speaker, I've been attending, actually I've always visited the hospital and I've actually talked to some of these patients. And I think Honorable Steve Kilonzo is my witness because one of the patients happened to be from Makindu. And you can imagine somebody being referred to 2 days, after being admitted here for 2 days, is referred to Doctor's Plaza. Why not refer the patient from Makindu to Doctors Plaza direct? Because we have services that can actually, we have doctors who can just realize this patient has this problem. Let me refer him direct to Doctors Plaza instead of just coming here for like 3 days and then you are referred back to Doctors Plaza. And after that now, you are told that you have realized your problem. This is the medication, go and buy. I am thinking, because if there are no other interests with Doctors Plaza, because it might be a cash cow for our people, why always, once you go to the hospital, Doctors Plaza, actually you try to see the money that is going there, and you realize that there's a time I was working as a sales rep. I was working for Mart Choice Kenya, and we used to have what we call commission. You should be paid on commission. Once you do certain amount of sales, you are paid some amount of money. And we used to make a lot of money. And that might be what is happening here. Once you refer someone to Doctors Plaza, whether he's sick or not sick, there's a commission for that. That is my thinking, because it can be just very common that you have to be to take an X-ray, you have to take all sorts of images, and they have to be taken from there. I've never heard of somebody telling me, I want some fare to go to Machakos Imaging Center. I've never heard of that, which is accredited by the Makueni County government to do imaging. I've never heard of that. I just heard, we are here at Doctors Plaza, we are, actually a porter from my ward paid over 50,000 last week.
Honorable Mateso.
Yes.
Are you sure? Are you not sure that what you're referring to is not the branch of the Machakos?
Mr. Speaker, they should have explained here and put in quotes Doctors Plaza. We don't know. We are assuming it is not the one. From the words they have explained here. Okay. Yes, they should give details, actually. They should not just imagine that we know Machakos Image is a brother to Doctors Plaza. We don't know. We assume, even if it's true, we don't know if that is the case. So, Honorable Speaker, there's a lot, Mr. Speaker, that need to be done so that we can save our people, Honorable Speaker. And that is why I brought this statement.
We hear you, Doctors Plaza. We hear you, Honorable Mateso.
That is the name they normally call me. You are not wrong to call me a doctor. They normally call me a doctor at times because they tell me I should go and treat people in the hospital.
Instead of making noise?
Yes. So.
Member, leader majority. Then chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are doing very well because we are still going to order number, I think, after this, Mr. Speaker. Unfortunately, we did not add time for this, Mr. Speaker. Either it lapsed because I really wanted us to move on and finish the business of today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I truly sympathize with my chair, my neighbor from Kiteta Kisau, who is accompanied with a member of that committee, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Dr. Kawembe, Mr. Speaker, because indeed this issue of health is really not a joking matter. And I appreciate Honorable Mateso. You know, Mateso, I remember last regime when he was fighting up for Kamunyolo Dam, Mr. Speaker, he was himself. In fact, he really suffered, Mr. Speaker, to the lack of the Swahili word, Mr. Speaker. He really suffered at that time. So, Mr. Speaker, I am of the opinion, and maybe, Mr. Speaker, I need your directions on this. This matter of health, it is not for that committee only. It is for all of us, Mr. Speaker. This matters health starts from where we come from, to the money towards the other wars, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this matters health has disturbed everybody. It is all over in the social media. It is now time we come to our almost conclusion on way forward, Mr. Speaker. And I appreciate His Excellency, the Governor, for thinking of having a chief officer to deal with human resources and other things, Mr. Speaker, and also a chief executive officer for that hospital, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to request that so that this matter is discussed conclusively, that we have a general oversight, Mr. Speaker. So that, Mr. Speaker, we come and discuss that matter here with a conclusion, not just leaving it to the committee or not on health alone, because this is all our matter, Mr. Speaker. So those matters, whether it is referral, whether it is doctors, whether it is what Honorable Mateso has said, Mr. Speaker, we have a general oversight, a serious one. The work we said we must start to oversight properly must start now. So, Mr. Speaker, I just recommend that a general oversight, and should be called as soon as yesterday, as soon as possible, because we cannot allow these things, cartels. I heard my colleague Bishop ordained, Mr. Speaker, with oil, Mr. Speaker, a bishop saying that this matter is not easy. I really appreciate him, because he's also brought a statement on health, Honorable Mateso on health. Several, in fact, I think my deputy here also brought a statement on health. So why don't we have a general oversight and discuss this matter, kabisa? I mean, I quote, Mr. Speaker, and we finish it. I thank you.
Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think I want to tell the whole house that I am a pharmacist by profession, and sometimes you go straight to what has been asked. So to me, I think we have answered every question as it has been raised by the honorable member. However, we note down the great concerns of the honorable members, and we request for the whole house oversight so that we can also discuss about the health, because it is a general one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Aware that, Chairperson, you have to give us a response by tomorrow, admitting that this matter be referred to general oversight. That will not shift the time, considering the urgency. It will then mean that instead of the committee responding tomorrow, then the whole house will sit to consider that matter with the ECM. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
That will invite the ECM as soon as possible tomorrow to be this house?
Obliged.
Obliged?
Yes.
Let me see the calendar. Tomorrow is too soon?
Tomorrow is too soon.
Or not too soon to give obvious information? Ilima, what is it?
You know, Mr. Speaker, the law is like a saw. Yes, a saw, the law is like double-edged sword. It cuts both when it goes forward and when it comes backward. And if you call somebody tomorrow, given that now from this time up to tomorrow, we are having very few hours, they will come and hide under the catastrophe of they do not have enough time. Well, let's give at least 24 hours or 48 hours, so that nobody can hide and say, I not get time to have full information, to be professional enough and have full etiquette of the house. That's the way I look at it. Because also human beings, they're not sitting only to wait for the statement. I believe wherever they are, they could be busy. And it's good to be fair. I don't want to be leaning on one side. Let's be fair, give them 48 hours, the big come here, we deal with them, kumun, if I may put it into quotes.
Honorable members, I have the following directions to make, that following a request of a statement by Honorable Mateso, member for what ensure regarding the state of service delivery in Makueni County Referral Hospital, which was raised a while back. Members of the County Assembly have been dissatisfied the manner in which the response has been made, further to which members of the County Assembly have cited various instances in which a lot of emerging issues are around the healthcare system, hospital, the referral system, and in particular Makueni County Referral Hospital. So that this matter is canvassed by all members of the County Assembly, because as you may recall, it touches on every sub-county hospital, every ward, every citizen of Makueni. Then we expand the latitude and I direct the clerk of the county assembly to communicate the decision of the county assembly and invite the executive committee member for health services to appear before the committee on general oversight on Wednesday of 25th of the October year 2023 at 09:30 hours. Chairperson Committee on Health Services, together with the Secretariat, ensure that any relevant document required or as mentioned, or that the ECM may deem necessary during the interrogation period on the subject matter, is laid before the office of the clerk on or before close of business tomorrow at 5 p.m. It is presumed that public information is on tables, on drawers, and therefore there is no reason as to why that information cannot be attained. Now, argument will be raised against circumstances under which the Assembly has invited the ECM in a short notice. I'm persuaded that the provisions of Article 43 on social rights, that right to health, have been breached, and therefore any further delay on this particular matter is admitted by this county assembly that we are in breach of the Constitution of Kenya and fundamental rights. The other business, the committee business, stands deferred. So any other priority business other than this on that particular date would want to see and know which is it that comes before our patients. So members, acquit yourselves with the requisite issues within your wards and the referral system in this hospital with a view of making recommendations on how we can better the health services in the county of Makueni. You have responsibility. Perhaps then we'll get things done better. Honorable members, further to that, on the order number 8, 9, 10, 11, by the Chairperson Committee on Finance, the Chairperson is away on official business. He humbly requested that he be given an opportunity to present this, I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. And that therefore, the only business that has been deferred is on the annual report of the Office of the County Attorney is deferred. That notwithstanding, honorable members, we've taken quite some time on the subject of statement, particularly on health and that on agriculture. And that I'm satisfied that members have taken a lot of time to interrogate themselves, and that is the only way we'll be able to interrogate executive. Other members who have chairs, who have statements pending before this assembly, please be warned that you will be the next. So Chairperson, Committee on Agriculture, you are here to prove right to us. Tomorrow at 2:30, otherwise we may advise that if it's not satisfactory at 2:30, we queue you for general oversight on Wednesday at midday. We want to maximize that time so that we have many ECMs. Yes. So chairs, moving forward, we will not be excusing you from answering questions. As the ECM answers question, you will also be giving, undertaking what you have done to support the executive or raise the issues. And then therefore, on the first instance, we will be requiring the chairperson to make a justification as to why that matter has left your committee and why you think this matter now must be dealt by another committee, and whether you have given up, that you are insufficient, equipped to respond to that. So it is not an easy walk. You will again take oath like others and justify why you want that matter to be conversed. That's why we are going to be serious, and there is no option about it, unfortunately. Honorable members, time now being 17:00 hours, the assembly stands adjourned until tomorrow, Tuesday, 24th of October, year 2023, until 9:30 hours.